Morning, this is Brian. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. I am here in Mission Trails Regional Park between San Diego and Santee here in San Diego County, and it's time for a Spotlight on Shrubs video, one I have been wanting to do for a very long time. So, with great pleasure, I present a spotlight on Spiny Red Berry. And it's this shrub here. This is Rhamnus crocea. This is the Spiny Red Berry plant. It's a usually small to sometimes medium-sized evergreen shrub, and it is a member of the Buckthorn family, the Rhamanceae. So the genus Rhamnus is the namesake of the Buckthorn family. The Buckthorn family is represented by a few genera here in Southern California, including Rhamnus. We have a couple species, actually a few species of Rhamnus, potentially 3 here in San Diego County that I'm aware of. And we also have another plant, the Ceanothus. This is another member of the Buckthorn family. So, Ceanothus and Rhamnus, and another genus, Frangula, which broke off from Rhamnus recently, which includes the coffee berries. So coffee berries are fairly close relatives of these here, the red berries. So, Spiny Red Berry. Now the plant itself is not super spiny in the sense of thorns or prickles or spines sticking out. It's the texture, the very tough texture of the twigs of this plant that kind of give it a spiny, sometimes a spiny look to them. Sometimes these little spur twigs can kind of stick out and jab you a little bit, but I've never really had any issues, and I've never really had a bushwhack through this plant before, but I'm, touching it gently, but with enough force so I can, if I feel prickly, then I know that it's prickly. But it does kind of look like a plant that would be prickly, but alright, I digress. So Rhamnus crocea, again, is an evergreen leaf shrub in the Buckthorn family Rhamanceae, and it's called red berry because of these red berry-like fruits that are on the plant during the late spring months, like right now. So in the early spring months, they get these small kind of 4-petaled greenish white flowers that are very inconspicuous. You kind of have to go up close to the shrub to really notice them. But after that, then they develop into these berry-like fruits. And the structure of this fruit is actually supposed to be quite complicated. It's not just as simple as looking like a berry, but basically what happens is there's supposed to be a seed capsule enclosed by this fleshiness here. There's supposed to be a seed capsule in there, kind of like on the Ceanothus genera, or Ceanothus genus. Seed capsules that burst open to release their seeds. However, these are surrounded by kind of a fleshy exocarp, but they look just like regular little berries. So they start off turning green, and then they develop and enlarge, and then they become these red berries. There's supposed to be at least 2, likely 3 species of Rhamnus here in San Diego County. This one, of course, this is one of the more common ones at the lower elevations in coastal sage scrub and more sun-exposed chaparral. This plant is more of a south-facing slope type of plant. There's also Rhamnus ilicifolia, which is a very similar plant, but the leaves are significantly larger on that, and that's called hollyleaf redberry. I pointed that out on a lot of my hikes previously, like in the Puente Hills in LA County, and even up in the mountains, because that plant can grow at much higher elevations than this one, but they are very closely related. In fact, Rhamnus licifolia, the hollyleaf redberry, used to be listed as a variety or subspecies of Rhamnus crocea. So it used to be Rhamnus crocea subspecies or variety of licifolia. That's how closely related these are. But hollyleaf redberry's leaves are much larger than these, and these are fairly typical of your Rhamanceae leaves, kind of rounded, kind of ovate, some small teeth along the edge of the leaves, and small and thick. Small, thick, and waxy, and that's an adaptation of a lot of plants in the chaparral and the evergreen woodier shrubs that are common in coastal sage scrub to help prevent excessive water loss. That's what small leaf size means, less transpiration. The thick waxiness of the leaves also help to retard transpiration overload, and that's how these plants are able to survive, especially on the sunnier south-facing slopes, especially that this species prefers. So, Rhamnus crocea. It can be quite locally common here in San Diego County. It also can be found up into Riverside County, Orange County. The full range of this plant I will post, but it's definitely more of a southern plant, and it's not as widely distributed, I believe, as Rhamnus licifolia, which I've yet to spotlight. I have not spotlighted it, but their flowering and fruiting habits are quite similar. They should be in fruit right now, the Rhamnus licifolia, but I'll have to do that as a separate video because there are no Rhamnus licifolia in this immediate vicinity. But this is a plant I've been wanting to spotlight for a long time, but I never seem to catch it because I rarely come across it. Rarely came across it living in North Orange County, because I didn't make it down this way as much, as where it's much more common here in San Diego County than up there. But it's nice to finally catch this shrub in fruit. It's actually very attractive. To make a really neat garden shrub if you were to give it a good south-facing slope exposure and well-drained soil, and keep it quite dry during the summer, as this plant is a very drought-tolerant member of our Dan coastal sage scrub and chaparral communities. I don't believe I've seen this plant above 2,000 or 3,000 feet. I wouldn't expect to. So it's probably a lot less cold tolerant than the hollyleaf redberry. So if you lived in a higher mountain community, like above 4,000 feet, I would definitely go with Rhamnus licifolia, the hollyleaf redberry, which I've seen as high as 6,800 feet in elevation. Again, Spiny Redberry is perfect for these low elevation dry sites. So a beautiful Spiny Redberry. Let's go take a look at some of the other features of the plant before I get distracted. I've been not really feeling so focused lately. So, we already looked at the leaves. Well, these leaves are really small. Again, for more arid exposures like this south-facing slope, perfect. But now we're going to look at the bark. The bark of the plant is quite similar to a lot of Rhamnceae. Relatively simple, medium gray bark and twigs, which may darken and get a little splotched lower down on the stem. So quite similar to its relatives, the Ceanothus, the Rhamnus, the frangula being the coffee berries. And there's one other native genus that is found here in San Diego County. It's called Adolphia. It's called spine shrub. I've only seen that plant once, and that was before I started filming my adventure, so I don't have any video footage of Adolphia californica. But when you're out and about hiking in coastal sage scrub, keep an eye out for Spiny Redberry. Rhamnus crocea. Another beautiful shrub that just one of many plants adding to the absolute outstanding, beautiful variety of vegetation here in Southern California. Hope you found this video informative and helpful in identifying more of our local SoCal flora. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Spotlight video.